Welcome to the Rosary Team Podcast. Today we are doing a deep dive into an image that, well, it really just stops you in your tracks. It's that photograph of Venerable Father Kapaun celebrating Mass on the hood of his Jeep during the Korean War.
It's one of those images that's so much more than a historical snapshot. It's a whole narrative packed into a single frame. It represents this incredible commitment right in the middle of total chaos.
Right. And our mission today is really to unpack that moment. We want to understand the gravity of it, look at Father Kapaun's legacy, and also see how this history is still so alive today, especially through sacred art.
So let's start with the hard facts, just to anchor everyone.
Yeah, let's do that. This iconic moment, this Mass on a piece of military hardware, it happened on a very specific day, October 7th, 1950.
And the location is critical. He was right near the border with North Korea. This is not a safe rear echelon event. This is in the thick of it.
That context of October 7th is it's so important. The conflict was escalating dramatically then.
It really was. And to see Captain Emil Kapaun, that was his rank, captain, a Catholic chaplain for the 3rd Battalion of the 8th Cavalry, setting up an altar on his Jeep, it just shows you how desperately they needed spiritual life to continue, even as everything else was falling apart.
I think we really have to spend some time on who Father Kapaun was, because his actions went so far beyond the standard duties of a chaplain.
Yeah.
It was something else entirely.
Oh, absolutely. When you look at the accounts of what he was doing on the front lines, the physicality of his ministry is what's so striking.
What do you mean by that?
Well, he wasn't just praying from a safe distance. The sources describe him constantly running, literally running from one foxhole to the next.
Oh.
He was physically dragging wounded soldiers out, giving last rites while under fire, and this part is amazing, hearing confessions over the sound of gunfire and explosions.
So the danger was immediate, constant.
It was, but then it goes even further. There are these details about him moving into no man's land. He was operating beyond the American lines.
A chaplain is not supposed to be doing that. He's stepping into this tactical void, really.
Exactly. And that's where his heroism just shifts into a different category. It's not just battlefield support anymore. It's intervention.
Like the story about him stopping an execution?
Yes, that one is extraordinary. He directly confronted enemy soldiers to negotiate for the safety of wounded Americans. As a priest, a non-combatant, his power didn't come from a weapon.
It came from his moral authority.
Sheer moral authority and unbelievable courage. He was putting his own life on the line, not just to save a soul in the next life, but to save a physical life right then and there.
And bringing it back to the Jeep Mass itself.
Yeah.
We see the photo, and it's a powerful visual, but what does it tell us about the practical side of ministry in a war zone?
It shows improvisation born from pure necessity. A field mass needs an altar, it needs sacred vessels, some sense of a sanctuary. In that environment, what's the most reliable, solid surface you have? It's the hood of a military vehicle. That Jeep became a temporary, consecrated space, a boundary between the hell of the front lines and the timelessness of the Eucharist.
That's a powerful way to put it. Leveraging the instruments of war for an act of peace.
It really is. It shows his dedication was absolute. He would serve his men wherever they were, with whatever he had.
And all of that courage, that dedication, is exactly why his cause for sainthood is where it is today.
So let's shift a bit and talk about his current status in the church.
Okay. So he currently holds the title Venerable.
Right.
Pope Francis declared him venerable on February 25th, 2025. What that means is the Church officially recognizes that Father Kapaun lived a life of heroic virtues. But crucially, that declaration also recognized his offering of life.
That phrase, offering of life, or oblatio vitae, that's a relatively new category for sainthood, isn't it? For our listeners, can you explain why that's so significant for Father Kapaun's cause? How is it different from martyrdom? It's a critical distinction, yeah. So traditional martyrdom requires death in odium fidei, which means in hatred of the faith. The person has to be killed specifically because of their belief in Christ.
And that wasn't exactly the case for Kapaun. He died in a prison camp from the consequences of war.
Precisely. It didn't fit that narrow traditional definition. So this offering of life category provides a different path. It was established fairly recently by the Vatican.
And it recognizes what? Exactly.
It recognizes those who freely and voluntarily offer their life in an act of charity for someone else, and that act leads directly to their premature death. Kapaun did that constantly. He chose the well-being of his men over his own safety again and again, which ultimately led to his death.
So it's about his proactive, selfless sacrifice.
Yes, it's a beautiful theological recognition of a shepherd laying down his life for his flock. It's a really powerful acknowledgement.
That does make his status as venerable so much more meaningful. So just to clarify the process for everyone listening, what's left for him to be canonized as a saint?
The next official step is beatification. For that, one documented miracle validated by the Church is needed. After that, a second miracle, one that happens after he's beatified, would be required for him to be formally canonized.
Okay. Turning now to his legacy. That image of the Jeep Mass, it's not just in history books. It's something people are actively celebrating and reenacting today.
Right, and that speaks volumes about the power of his story. These reenactments, they serve a dual purpose. They honor his memory, for sure, but they're also a way to prayerfully ask for his intercession. They bring that moment from 1950 right into our present day.
We have some great examples of this. In his hometown, Pilsen, Kansas, the Father Kapaun Guild hosted a really significant Jeep Mass on November 8th, 2025.
And the timing on that was intentional. It was to commemorate Veterans Day and also to mark the 75th anniversary of his service in Korea.
It sounds like it was a real community event, too.
Oh, very much so. It was held at his home parish, St. John Nepomucene. But they also had lunch provided by the Pilsen Altar Society, and the Chaplain Kapaun Museum was open. It really connects the hero back to his roots, you know?
Yeah. And it wasn't just in his hometown. There was another Jeep Mass in Wichita, Kansas, around the anniversary of the original photo on October 8th, 2025.
That one was celebrated on a football field with students. Imagine that. You take a familiar place like a football field, and you instantly make this history come alive for a whole new generation.
And I read that even the annual Kansas Camino pilgrimage often includes a reenactment of the Jeep Mass.
It does. It transforms a physical walk into this spiritual journey centered on his virtue. It's clear that single action has become this profound spiritual touchstone in Kansas and beyond.
It is clear. Father Kapaun's sacrifice just resonates so deeply with people. And while these reenactments are a beautiful spiritual way to remember, I think a lot of people want something more tangible, a connection to the story they can see every day.
And that's exactly the role sacred art plays. It takes a fleeting, dangerous moment like that Mass and turns it into a permanent devotional object. It lets you pause and reflect on that courage every single day.
So if you're listening right now and you feel that connection, if you want to bring a piece of this powerful history into your own home, we really encourage you to see the sacred art that captures this very image. You can visit rosaryteam.com to explore how they translate this incredible story into lasting art.
And the intention behind the art is really key here. It's not just about, making a copy. It's about trying to capture the spiritual weight and the power of that Mass back in 1950.
So let's talk about the specific piece that does this. It's the Father Kapaun Jeep Mass wood print. It really is designed to be a centerpiece to hold the historic weight of that original artwork.
The medium they chose is really significant. This isn't some glossy poster. They're using sustainably sourced, FSC-certified birchwood.
Which gives it what kind of feel?
A very natural rustic feel. The wood grain itself adds this warmth and texture, so every single matte finish piece is actually unique.
It sounds like the aesthetic choices are meant to reinforce the theme. It's solid, enduring, a lot like his faith.
Exactly. And the prints are clean edge to edge, so the image of Father Kapaun in the Jeep is the absolute focus. This art is meant to take center stage, to be that constant visible reminder of courage under fire.
The quality is obviously very high, but in terms of accessibility, the Father Kapaun Jeep Mass wood print is listed for $280.12 USD.
And that print is really a perfect gateway into the broader collection of sacred art available from the Rosary Team. They focus on figures who embody that same kind of heroic virtue.
Like who else?
Well, you can find other art for your walls, ceramic tile icons, figures like Blessed Carlo Acutis, St. Charbel Machlouf, the Holy Family, a lot of really powerful wood plaque icons.
The common thread seems to be celebrating faith and sacrifice through history. At the end of the day, this whole deep dive just reminds me of the incredible power of that one image. It's a testament to faith, to virtue, under the most extreme pressure imaginable.
And I think the real takeaway, maybe the challenging part, is reflecting on that offering of life. It sort of forces you to ask, what does that kind of selfless dedication look like in my own life? It's easy to admire his courage from a distance, but the Church's recognition of him is a challenge to all of us, really, to think about what costly charity means.
It is. His life is an incredibly powerful model. And to bring that testament of faith and sacrifice into your own home, we highly encourage you to go see the iconic Father Kapaun wood print and the full range of sacred art collections.
This is a chance not just to remember history, but to integrate the inspiration of heroic virtue into your daily life. Just go to rosaryteam.com.
Thank you for listening to the Rosary Team Podcast.